Welcome back to Waters Ironworks, everyone. A little bit of a different style video today. We're going to be watching a move of a power hammer that I picked up at an estate sale and donated to the Living History Museum that I do a lot of my blacksmithing at Pioneer Farms. Here my buddy John and I are loading up a cherry picker style engine hoist, and here is the power hammer. A real beauty, a champion #1, patent date 1901, 1902. This is perfect for the 1899 town square that we are trying to recreate. We've got Michael added in the gray shirt over there. We brought him because he is mechanically inclined and has some experience working on this sort of thing. He was an enormous help. My buddy John, who is there in the sleeveless shirt, huge help also. Did wear flip-flops, which was a bit of an interesting choice, so you can keep an eye out for that. While we were waiting for the trailer that we were going to load this onto to show up, we took apart and removed everything that we could. Being blacksmiths, we did improvise a couple of our own tools there. We needed a punch in order to punch out this item, but by and large, for a power hammer that hasn't been used in 25 plus years, everything was remarkably easy to remove. Most of those bolts we could remove without any real trouble on it. Drop the power hammer head down there. Then we needed to pull off these V plates here. As you can see, these bolts are just coming loose, no problem. There was one that was a little tough. We had some pipe though, so we made a persuader and were able to finish getting that off. We just pulled off one side of that V right there in order to pull that power hammer head off. Just absolutely amazing how well everything on this worked. There's the head removed. We left the rest of it standing. Here's a forge that I also picked up. Really interesting clinker breaker, I thought, on it, kind of going back and forth like that. Loaded that up onto Todd's truck. That's Todd there with the beard. Came down to help us as well. And here Stephanie has arrived with her trailer. You see me putting the chain on. We did eventually realize that we did not have the chain that we really wanted, so had to make a run to the store to pick up a new chain. But after a little bit of work, we were able to get the right chain, get this hoisted up, and here we really lucked out. That trailer, with about a 1/4 inch to spare, managed to squeeze in with the pallet on it so that we could set the hammer right down on it. We had a pallet jack in order to move it up to the front of the truck there, get it up over the axle. I had heard and seen some videos of people trying to lay these things down on their side. They seem to be made out of cast iron, and they're pretty fragile to shock, so putting it down on its side really risks snapping it in half. So lots of strapping, got it on there tight, driving through the beautiful countryside down near San Marcos, Texas, and here we are up at Pioneer Farms in Austin. This was actually the hardest part, is moving it this last dozen feet or so. You can see the trailer being moved out there. We've got a dirt floor in the shop that presented a real problem. We wound up putting plywood down and making a path as we just push this thing along on the engine hoist here, pulling out the boards that we'd already rolled over, moving them back. Definitely a slow process, but worked surprisingly well. The only real challenge was if any of those wheels dropped in between the cracks on the boards, we'd have to get a pry bar or lever or something to lift it back up. You can see one dropping off there. But as long as we kept them on the boards, it worked pretty well. We eventually got it moved back into the location we wanted. You see a couple new Smiths come in, JT there in the blue shirt, Leo in the back in the checkered shirt. Both a huge help while we were moving this. Got it dropped down exactly where we wanted it. And this power hammer is going to be a great addition to the farm. And in 1899, our farm is a bit undertooled for what a well-equipped blacksmith shop would have looked like. Things like this power hammer coming in, fly presses and stuff would have really allowed a lot more work to be done and quickly, and we'd love to be able to demonstrate that. So we've got some time to find an engine for it, get it cleaned up, and get this working. We'll show you what it looks like going through that process. Thanks so much.